Hello, my queen. Welcome to Inner Empire, my queen, the space where we deconstruct the invisible lies that settle in the mind without making a sound, and where we reveal the profound truths that allow you to reclaim your inner axis and your personal sovereignty. Before we go any further, I invite you to like this video, share it with someone who feels confused, unstable, or lost within, and subscribe to the channel. Every share is a light placed on an inner path often traveled in solitude. Today, we are talking about a modern lie, seductive and socially valued, but deeply disorienting. The idea that you are what you feel. A belief that has become almost sacred, repeated everywhere, rarely questioned, and yet heavy with inner consequences. My queen, you were taught very early to define yourself by your current emotional state. If you feel good, then everything is fine. If you feel bad, then something is wrong with you. Little by little, your inner world has become a permanent tribunal where every emotion renders an immediate verdict on your value, your path, and your identity. Current culture pushes you to listen to your emotions as if they held the ultimate truth. You are encouraged to act according to what you feel, to change as soon as discomfort appears, to question what no longer provides immediate pleasure. Feeling has become an absolute compass without ever being questioned, contextualized, or interpreted. But my queen, an emotion is by nature unstable. It varies according to fatigue, hormones, stress, old wounds, disappointed expectations, and unconscious fears. And yet, you are asked to build your identity, your relationships, your commitments, and your decisions on something that sometimes changes from one hour to the next. So you move to the rhythm of your inner fluctuations. You commit when you feel carried. You doubt when the momentum drops. You give up when the emotion transforms. You change direction not because the path is bad, but because the feeling is no longer the same. And by relying only on what you feel, you lose all inner continuity. My queen, this shift is subtle but profound. You no longer choose from a stable center, but from a transient state. You no longer inhabit your decisions. You endure them. You pass from one desire to another, from one certainty to its opposite, with the constant feeling of never being fully aligned, never really sure of yourself. The price is immense. Chronic emotional instability, difficulty committing long-term, feeling of betraying or contradicting yourself constantly, progressive loss of self-confidence, because you no longer know what to lean on internally. When everything depends on what you feel, nothing is solid. You can spend years changing course, restarting, reinventing, without ever really finding yourself. Not because you lack depth, but because you seek your identity in perpetual motion. You look at yourself in a mirror that moves constantly, and you wonder why you can never grasp yourself. To understand where this lie can lead, let's look at the story of a world-famous person, Kanye West. Visionary artist, extraordinary creative. Adored for his genius, but also sadly famous for his constant reversals, impulsive decisions, and uncontrolled public statements. For years, Kanye confused emotional intensity with inner truth. What he felt immediately became what he stated, what he did, what he proclaimed to the world. When he felt invincible, he declared himself a misunderstood genius. When he felt attacked, he went to war. When he felt inspired, he disrupted everything: relationships, contracts, image, without filter or perspective. His identity seemed to change with the rhythm of his inner states, leaving chaos behind. It was not a lack of talent, but an absence of distance between emotion and identity. My queen, this story illustrates an essential truth. When emotion becomes sovereign, direction disappears. Even the most brilliant genius can get lost if he confuses what he feels with what he is. Without an inner framework, without discernment, emotion takes over and ends up governing your life. And that is how many get lost today. Not from a lack of sensitivity, but from an excess of submission to their feelings. Emotions are no longer listened to, they are obeyed. They are no longer signals, they become orders. My queen, when emotion sits on the throne, identity wavers. And until this lie is deconstructed, no deep stability is possible. End of part 1. My queen, to get out of this lie, we must first establish a fundamental truth: feeling is not being. An emotion is an inner experience, not a definition of your identity. It passes through your inner world, but it doesn't say who you are or what you must become. The Bible reminds us that man is called to walk by truth and wisdom, not by the fluctuations of the heart. The heart feels, yes, but it can be troubled, influenced, or wounded. That is why wisdom consists in observing what happens within, without dissolving into it. Even the highest spiritual figures have known anguish, doubt, and sadness without ever reducing their identity to these transient states. Modern psychology joins this ancient truth. An emotion is a response of the nervous system to a stimulus, internal or external. It informs about a need, a fear, a memory. But it is neither an order nor an absolute truth. To confuse emotion with identity is to give the power of decision to an unstable biological mechanism. The first key, my queen, is therefore inner discernment, learning to make a clear distinction between what you feel and what you choose. Feeling fear does not mean you must flee. Feeling doubt does not mean your path is bad. Feeling a drop in momentum does not mean you are wrong. A simple but transformative tool is to modify your inner language. Replace I am with I feel. I am lost becomes I feel confusion. I am empty becomes I am experiencing a sensation of emptiness. This subtle shift restores your power, because you become the observer of your inner world and not its prisoner. The second key is the construction of a foundation more stable than emotion. This foundation is called values, vision, and deep convictions. These are what should guide your choices when emotion fluctuates. Write down in black and white what is non-negotiable for you. What you want to honor, what you want to build, what you refuse to sacrifice, even when your feeling changes. My queen, inner maturity begins when you accept that certain decisions must be held even when emotion no longer temporarily supports them. It is not betraying yourself, it is structuring yourself. Constancy protects authenticity. Constancy protects it from chaos. A third essential key is emotional regulation. Breathing slowly, returning to the body, slowing down the nervous system allows you to no longer act in the heat. Heart coherence, deep breathing, conscious walking, and introspective writing are powerful tools to regain clarity before any important decision. For reading, several books can help. Emotional Agility by Susan David helps understand how to welcome emotions without giving them control. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl reminds us that man is free to choose his attitude, even when emotion is painful. In French, Imparfaits, Libres et Hero by Christophe André helps develop a healthier relationship with one's inner states. A powerful exercise is daily. A powerful exercise consists in asking yourself every day, what woman do I choose to be, independently of how I feel today? This question shifts your center of gravity from emotion toward conscious identity. It reminds you that you are much more vast than your current feeling. My queen, emotions are not enemies. They are precious messengers when they are listened to with wisdom, but they become destructive when they govern. Your role is not to silence them, but to put them back in their proper place, at the service of your inner kingdom. The more you strengthen your inner axis, the less you will be tossed about. And paradoxically, you will feel more emotionally at peace, because your emotions will no longer have to carry the weight of an entire identity. You will become stable, present, conscious, even in the middle of the waves. And remember this: inner sovereignty is not about always feeling good, but about staying faithful to the truth, even when the emotion is uncomfortable. That is where deep freedom is born. Remember, my queen, freedom doesn't start outside, but in the inner space where you choose truth over lies, consciousness over automatism, and peace over performance. See you soon on Inner Empire, where we don't build an image, but a solid and free inner kingdom. Goodbye.